Hello, all of you. Let us move further with Chapter 6 Life Processes, presented by E Biology class, Fatima Convent High School, myself, Dipali. We understood in the chapter that why nutrition is required, what are different types of nutrition. Now, with this session, we are going to study the heterotropic mode of nutrition and human digestive system. Heterotropic mode of nutrition. We already know that heterotropic mode of nutrition means when organisms cannot synthesize the food from inorganic substances directly into their body, but they take complex nutrients and break them down into simpler form. Each organism is adapted to its environment. The forms of nutrition differ depending on the type and availability of food material, as well as how it is obtained by the organism. For example, whether the food source is stationary, such as grass, or mobile, such as deer, would allow for difference is how the food is assessed and what is the nutritive apparatus used by a cow and a lion. There is a range of strategies by which food is taken in and used by organisms. Some organisms break down the food material outside the body and then absorb it, example fungi like bread mold, yeast and mushroom. Others take in food material and break it down inside their bodies. What can be taken in and broken down depends on the body designs and functioning. Some other organisms derive nutrition from plants or animals without killing them. This parasitic nutritive strategies is used by a wide variety of organisms like cuscata, amarbale, tick, lice, leeches, and tapeworm. So, we can easily understand that heterotropic mode of nutrition is again classified further into various forms. We have already studied about these various forms in lower classes as herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous, parasites, saprophytes, symbiotic. These are the various forms of classification of heterotropic modes of nutrition. There is one more form which is mentioned as the organisms which digest food inside their body. They are called as holozoic mode of nutrition. Now let us see how do organisms obtain their nutrition. Since the food that and the way it is obtained differs, the digestive system is different in various organisms. In single-celled organism, the food may be taken in by the entire surface. But as the complexity of the organism increases, different parts become specialized to perform different functions. For example, amoeba takes in food using temporary finger-like extensions of the cell surface which fuses over the food particles, forming a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken down into simpler ones. When this diffuse into the cytoplasm, the remaining undigested material is moved to the surface of the cell and thrown out. In Paramecium, which is also a unicellular organism, the cell has a defined shape and food is taken in at a specific spot. Food is moved to this spot by the movement of cilia which cover the entire surface of the cell. So as you can observe very clearly in this figure, this is digestion in amoeba, where amoeba, when it senses a food particle close to the surface, it extends its pseudopodia and forms a food vacuole around that food particle. Once that food vacuole is created, it releases some digestive enzymes and the food is taken into the cytoplasm and broken down into simple molecules to generate energy. And the excretory waste generated during this process is again thrown out of the body through the cell walls. This is how digestion occurs in simpler organisms. But basic digestion has five main steps. They are ingestion, that is, to take in food, digestion, that is, breaking down the complex food molecules into simple ones, absorption, the simple food molecules are now absorbed by the capillaries and the blood cells. Assimilation, that is, mixing of this nutritive material into the cells. And last is egestion, that is, throwing out the waste product from the body. These are the five basic processes which are carried out for Holozoic mode of nutrition. But the format may be different or the organs involved may be different depending upon the type of the food taken by the organism and the size of the organism. Now let us see and study the nutrition in human beings. We all know that we all eat food. Now, what happens to the food which enters our body and how do we get energy from it? The system which does this function for us is called as the digestive system or the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal is basically a long tube extending from mouth to the anus. It is one of the longest system of the body. We will see that the tube has different parts. Various regions are specialized to perform different functions. What happens to the food once it enters our body? We shall discuss this process here. Let us first perform an activity to show the presence of starch in our food. Take 1 ml starch solution 1% in two test tubes A and B. Add 1 ml saliva to the test tube A and leave both test tubes undisturbed for 20 to 30 minutes. Now add a few drops of dilute iodine solution to the test tube. In which test tube do you observe the change in color? What does it indicate about the presence or absence of starch in the two test tubes? What does this tell us about the action of saliva on starch? The test tube, which has saliva in it, will digest the starch into simpler forms. We eat various types of food which has to pass through the same digestive tract. Naturally, the food has to be processed to generate particles which are small and of same texture. This is achieved by crushing the food with our teeth. Since the lining of the canal is soft, the food is also wetted to make its passage smooth. When we eat something we like, our mouth waters. This is actually not only water but a fluid called saliva secreted by salivary gland. Another aspect of food we ingest is its complex nature. If it is to be absorbed from the alimentary canal, it has to be broken into smaller molecules. This is done with the help of biological catalysts called enzymes. The saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase that breaks down the starch, which is a complex substance, to give simple molecule of sugar. The food is mixed thoroughly with saliva and moved around the mouth with, while chewing by the muscular tongue. It is necessary to move the food in the regulated manner along the digestive tube so that it can be processed properly in each part. The lining of canal has muscles that contract rhythmically in order to push the food forward. This peristaltic movement occurs all along the gut. From the mouth, the food is taken to the stomach through the food pipe or esophagus. The stomach is a large organ which expands when food enters it. The muscular walls of the stomach helps in mixing the food thoroughly with more digestive juices. The digestion in the stomach is taken care of by gastric glands present in the wall of the stomach. The release of hydrochloric acid, a protein digesting enzyme called pepsin, and mucus. The hydrochloric acid creates an acidic medium which, which facilitates the action of enzyme pepsin. What other functions do you think is served by the acid? The mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of acid under normal conditions. We have often heard adults complaining about acidity. When this is, can this be related to what has been discussed above? The exit of food from the stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases it in small amount into the small intestine. From the stomach, the food now enters the small intestine. This is the longest part of alimentary canal which is fitted into a compact space because of extensive coiling. The length of the small intestine differs in various animals depending on the food they eat. Herbivores eating grass needs a longer small intestine to allow the cellulose to be digested. Meat is easier to digest, hence carnivores like tigers have shorter small intestine. The small intestine is the site of complete digestion of carbohydrate, proteins and fats. It receives the excretion of liver and pancreas for this purpose. The food coming from the stomach is acidic and has to be made alkaline for the pancreatic enzyme to act on it. Bile juice forms the liver accomplishes this in addition to acting on fat. Fats are present in the intestine in the form of large globules which makes it difficult for enzymes to act on them. Bile salts break them down into simpler forms smaller globules, increasing the efficiency of enzymes to work. This is similar to engulfing action of soap on dirt that we have learned about in chapter 4. The pancreas secretes pancreatic juice which contains enzymes like trypsin that for digesting proteins and lipase for breaking down engulfing engulfed emulsified fats. The walls of the small intestine contains glands which secrete intestinal juice. The enzymes present in it finally converts the protein into amino acid, complex carbohydrates into glucose, and fat into fatty acid and glycerol. The digested food is taken up by the walls of the intestine. The inner lining of the small intestine has numerous finger-like projection called villi, which increases the surface area for absorption. These villi are richly supplied with blood vessels which take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body, where it is utilized for obtaining energy, building up new tissues, and the repair of old tissues. The absorbed food is sent into the large intestine where its wall absorbs more water from this material. The rest of the material is removed from the body via anus. The exit of this waste material is regulated by anal sphincter. Dental cares. Dental care or tooth decay causes gradual softening of enamel and dentines. This begins with the bacteria acting on the sugar produced acids and softens or demineralizes the enamel. Masses of bacterial cell together with food particles stick to teeth to form dental plaque. Saliva cannot reach the tooth surface to neutralize the acid as plaque covers the teeth. Brushing the teeth after eating removes the plaque before the bacteria produced acid. If untreated, microorganisms may invade the pulp, causing inflammation and infection. So, do you understand why it is so important to take care of the teeth? You will be able to answer the questions given below. Now, let us just have a brief explanation about digestive system. Now, you can observe in the figure the digestive system can be understood by dividing it into certain sections. Let us first see the organs associated with digestive system. The organs associated with digestive system are mouth, tongue, teeth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. These are the main organs of digestive system. There are accessory organs as well which are related to the process of digestion, but the food actually never passes through these organs. They are called accessory organs. They are liver and pancreas and salivary glands, which are present in the buccal cavity. And diaphragm is just shown to show the position of the digestive system in our body. An appendix is the vestigial organ or the tailbone present in the human body. Now let us see the pathway of the food. The food passes from mouth to esophagus to stomach to small intestine. From small intestine, there are two pathways: the food or the nutrients goes to blood cells, whereas water and undigested food passes to large intestine and to anus. This is how the food passes. Now, does the food passes as it is? No. The food has to be broken down into simpler forms, and this is done with the help of special enzymes. Enzymes are biological chemicals or biological catalysts which either increase or decrease the rate of reactions and do not increase or decrease themselves in quantity. They are produced by various glands in our body. In the mouth, the salivary gland produces saliva. In the stomach, there are three secretions which are hydrochloric acid, mucus, and pepsin. In the small intestine, you have intestinal secretion, which is produced by the walls of small intestine, and the secretion made by liver, that is bile juice, is also put into the small intestine through various capillaries, and the enzyme secreted by pancreas is also entered into the small intestine for digestion. Large intestine has few secretions like mucus, which helps in making the stool or the fecus soft and easily movable to the anus and then thrown out of the body. So, we can say that the digestive system is a complex process in which food passes through various organs, and during that passage, it is broken down into simpler substances by various enzymes, and the carbohydrates are converted to simple glucose, the proteins are converted to amino acids, and fats are converted to fatty acid or glycerols. That is the main purpose for conversion or breaking down of food. This is how the food is digested and assimilated into the body of a living organism, where it further gets broken down with the help of oxygen, which we will observe and study in the process of respiration, and how finally the energy is generated from the food which we have eaten. That is all for the digestive system here. We shall end this lecture here.